Well, for me, I guess it all started back in 1997. I was 19 years old and had the opportunity to go out to Uganda, and living here in Northern Ireland, I don't think I was really prepared for what I was going to experience. When you hit Uganda, you're faced with people who are living in mud huts and in poverty that you've never really seen before, people who struggle just to get the basics in life, the things that we take so for granted. When you drive around in the rural areas, you see kids sitting at the side of the road because they just don't have any school to go to, or their parents can't afford for them to go to school. And I guess the whole thing as a 19-year-old blew me away and overwhelmed me, and realised how much I'd been blessed and where I'd lived, and the education I had, and the parents I had, and the house that I was brought up in. At the time, I was helping out at a school, and we were painting a newly built school. And one of the days we were painting, a large queue of parents, grandparents and children started to come, and they were actually coming for interviews for a literacy program that was running after school hours. And this queue literally was the length of a football pitch. And as I painted, I was just constantly looking over my shoulder at this queue. It didn't seem to get any smaller, and in fact 3 days later they finished the interviews. There must have been over 200 children that were interviewed for just the small amount of places that there were. And it just blew me away that these people were coming along just trying to get into education, and something that to us is free and so easy to get. And after the interviews had finished, the next day around 20 children came back, but they were turned away because there was no more free places in the school. And the next day they kept on coming back, and the numbers dropped every day, but still every morning these children kept on walking up to the school, and the children kept on getting turned away. And I spoke to some of the people at the school at the time, and I figured out how much support that I had been given to get out to Africa, and realised that I had some of it left over. And it worked out that I had actually enough to sponsor 5 children to be in school for a year. The next morning, 5 children walked up, and that was the first 5 children that Abana sponsors. One of those children, Catherine Nfuka, is a child that our family sponsored, and we just had a real connection with her right from the start. She was just such a smiler, and we used to just play games in the playground, and we went to her home to see where she lived, and just had a real connection just with this one child. So when I got home, I couldn't get Africa out of my mind. The experiences of what I had, the children that I met, and especially the children that I guess in many ways we weren't able to help. And I guess that was really the birth of Abana in the UK. I got together with some friends and chatted about my heart and my passion, my vision, and where I felt God was leading me on it. And from that, Abana started. So our family took on Catherine to support and sponsor, and so we started to try and find supporters, and initially for the 4 other children. And once we found support for those children, then we started to try and find support for other children. And so the initial work of Abana was really just trying to support just those few children and expand on it from there. Catherine's now in her 20s. She's come through primary school, secondary school, and is now in further education. And through the support of Abana, Catherine now has the chance to live and not just survive. It's been a real privilege, from those first 5 children, just to see Abana grow, and through the support of many, many people, just many kids in Africa getting an education and getting a hope for a future.